All right, everyone, welcome to Chamber Chat. I'm your host, Jeff Griffin, President and CEO of the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce. And our guest with us today is Andrea Parker, Executive Director of the Hult Center for Healthy Living. Andrea, welcome.
Good morning, and thank you.
You're welcome. So it's a beautiful day here in Peoria, and we have a lot to talk about of what's going on at Hult. Is it okay if I abbreviate it to Hult?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to get any marketing
No, you're good.
marketing trouble or whatever. So for folks that for some reason are not familiar with Hult, give us a little bit of background, a brief history.
Brief history. So Hult is 25 years old as
Okay.
of 2015, and initially was started by doctors Stephen Bash and Patty, his wife, coming out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They had a similar facility in Indiana that did youth education. It was targeted to preschool to high school. And they brought that philosophy to Peoria, took it to the city council and other kind of philanthropy physicians in here in town. And they toured the place in Indiana and decided Peoria, with the school district that we live in, needed some help with health education and youth targeted. So out of several planning groups and focus groups, Hult was birthed kind of 1990 as it saw its first children through the doors. And it is a huge background of health education, all the way from healthy eating, healthy living, healthy behaviors, helping children make healthy decisions about their
Right.
life, whether it's sexuality, exercise, relationships, behavioral health, you name it.
Right.
So it's been a long history of youth education.
Right. So I know the first time I toured Hult, and a lot of our parents out there and teachers and kids started in 1990. The field trips, Hult takes in the kids, just Peoria Public Schools or more
No,
regional?
we
Okay.
reach regional and we actually have no boundaries. I have staff that bring programs in and I have staff that go out as outreach to school districts that can't come in.
Gotcha.
Sometimes that bus restraint for cost doesn't allow the schools to come in, so staff do go out. We go as far as Bloomington, Macomb. There are really no boundaries. We've been invited to Cook County, Chicago, to the school district.
Impressive.
Yes, so
So here's you and I were just talking before the show about how our non-for-profits and our folks are really part of our Peoria economy and community. And when I hear we're going outside of the county to provide those services, I like hearing that because that's centered in Peoria, but we're extending out regionally.
absolutely. Because we live in a tri-county world,
Hmm.
and even the counties that extend past our tri-county, people live, work, and play in the Peoria area.
Right.
So their children will grow up someday and maybe come back to this area. So our outreach as healthcare really doesn't have boundaries. If a big event were to happen, you don't stop at the county line, and everything migrates over.
Right.
So health education, our family. That visual, if you were having surgery, typically the surgeons draw you a sketch and you pretend to know what you just saw when they drew that. But if you could see that as an adult through her body system, you would get a great view of what that actually looks like.
Right. So community health, I mean, especially here in the Peoria region with the sophistication of healthcare services that we have is obviously a quality of life issue, brings people in. What are at the top of the list? I'm sure it's a lengthy list, but obviously educating our kids, making responsible relationship decisions, family decisions, drug use decisions. What are some of the subjects at the top of the list are of greatest concern to you as Hult provides these services for Peorians?
That's a good question because, although Holt has been traditionally youth focused,
Hmm.
2011 and 2013, we brought more of an adult focus to Holt. So 2011, we added what formerly was the Cancer Center for Healthy Living. So cancer. Typically that agency was a United Way funded agency that did healthy living support palliative type services for those that were in cancer treatment, currently in cancer treatment, as well as their caregivers and those survivors. So it brought a different blend to Holt to
Hmm.
focus on cancer it's pretty a large diagnosis as far as volume goes. So helping those people get through those getting through those hardship times of their life. So it brought an adult focus to Hult. And then in 2013, the Illinois Valley Mental Health Association, again, another agency that we partnered with or acquired, behavioral health. So that behavioral health is such a large issue, it actually permeates all the programs that we offer. And in this community, that is a huge priority as it doesn't come with a lot of funding. As children hit Medicaid level, as well as adults who lose their positions for behavioral health issues, who takes care of them?
Right.
So that is another huge area that we don't spend a lot of time on, that we need to spend across our borders, again, of counties, a lot more time on.
So how is it, this is exciting to learn, how is it that you're able to add those new programs? How do you, if at all, do you guys tie in with the state funding crisis? How do you go about securing the funds to add these necessary programs?
And that is interesting because Hult is, even though we are United Way funded with grants that we receive from United Way, private donations, events such as Uncorked, that's our upcoming event. We do 5 events a year, as well as grants is what we seek to fund our programs. So my staff is really connected to grants for every program that we do for funding.
Okay.
So we do operate, we don't really have a revenue generating stream. There are very few of the programs, like there's a very, very small fee per pupil when the students come in and we go out by volume. That's like $4 a student that we entertain, as well as the massage programs and the cancer healthy living programs. There's a fee for those people coming in.
Gotcha.
None of those come close to the cost of us actually doing that.
Right. So this is important for folks to understand. A community, a school district, a village can identify a health need or some need. They put out a RFP, a request for proposals for providers, and then your staff scraping those RFPs from the internet or whatever, and United Way, and then responding to the community needs.
Absolutely.
Which is a very difficult thing to do and challenging thing to do. That's why you have such a talented staff. But we're responding to the community's identified needs.
It is, and it is a challenge, as you know. Historically, community health, public health has done a community assessment. I think this would be the 5th year or 5-year, maybe 25-year cycle of doing community health planning. Recent years, the hospitals have also been brought into the community health planning. Public health has done it for years unfunded as a mandate by the state of Illinois. So Hult joins into that. What is going on in your community that we could help educate people to be healthier? And as we go with the Affordable Care Act, as you know, people need to be kept on the outside of the hospital caring for themselves. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, how not to be so severe that you'll get hospitalized, because look at the expense you just cost, that we could keep you maybe healthier on the outside and you never get to that really severe case that has to be hospitalized.
Correct. All right, folks, just a level set here. You're with Jeff Griffin on Chamber Chat, PeoriaLife.com. Our guest today is my friend Andrea Parker, Executive Director of the Hult Center for Healthy Living. We've been talking about the programming that Hult Center provides for not only the community, but regionally, and the massive diversity in the programming. I have a freshman in high school. He came home yesterday and said his health quiz was postponed because they had a guest speaker in talking about how to control your anger.
Anger management.
When I was in high school, they had those sort of programs, but you got referred to them by that. So it's nice. It's nice to see. I like to see kids exposed to these healthy living options and to interact with other adults who care about those needs. So I like the work you guys are doing. Let's switch gears here a little bit. You guys have a big event coming up.
Yes, we do. Uncorked.
And I've been to this event. And tell us about Uncorked.
Well,
please.
Uncorked, again, it was one of Hult's 5 fundraisers. It's our last one for the year. And Uncorked came along with the cancer programs. It was one of the major fund events for Cancer Center for Healthy Living. And it was a cocktail end of wine tasting eventually, or wine tasting and food tasting. And it has grown over the years, and it still is wine tasting, but we've kind of added a little spin of alcohol. JK Distillery for JK Whiskey also is present at that event. The hotels present. So any alcohol distributor, we like them to bring their signature events, or signature drinks, I should say, so that it's kind of a wow factor. And then the foods are more of the, I don't want to say high end to exclude anyone, but it's things that maybe you would go, oh, wow, I really would like to taste that. I've never tasted that before. So we try to make it an event that's a little different than just coming to, not that the taste of Peoria is not good.
Sorry, you don't have to qualify every. I do that all the time too.
I know.
You're not good. Well, let's just go ahead and talk about it. We're
So
not
it's,
gonna-
yes, yeah, that's
You've
what
already
it is.
mentioned
That's
some
what it is.
non-chamber members, so
Yeah.
I've already.
So that's what it is.
So
Comes
we
with a
should
band.
remind-
There's dancing.
Okay, so we got.
It's a great event.
And let's remind folks that it has been proven drinking in moderation can actually be a health benefit.
Yes,
here,
it can.
so
Laughing is always very healthy. So fun activity, unwinding. It's a Friday night. So people think they're tired on a Friday night. We were surprised. We extended it an hour this year to later.
Okay.
Because last year we were done about 10, and still an hour and a half later, people were still there.
Oh, no.
Without the event. They were just still hanging out. The band was done, and even my own children who attended over 30 said, "Mom, I think you should make it a little later. People are looking for something to do on a Friday night."
Yep.
And that's exactly what we did this year.
So it's October 14th.
Correct.
October 14th is a Friday.
It's a Friday. Paradise Hotel.
Paradise
6
Hotel.
p.m.
and
is a
Casino.
VIP event. Starts early.
And where do people go to get tickets for this event?
Online for Hult.
Okay.
www.hulthealthy.org.
HultHealthy.org.
You can always call the Hult Center, 692-6650. We will
Okay.
help you get online, or you can purchase tickets. You're welcome to stop in. We have a gamut of ways. We just want you to come.
Right, exactly. I got you. So October 14th, listeners, Uncorked at Paradise Hotel and Casino. HultHealthy.org is the place to buy tickets, or 692-6650.
Yes.
And this is a up and move around event.
It is. There's really high top tables in case you need to take a rest stop
Yeah.
and visit with some people. But basically, you're up and moving. Music is going. It's a fun, fluid event. There's no certain start or stop. You just kind of come and hang out.
Awesome. Well, I was telling you before we started the show, I have some staff members here. All my staff members here like to go out. They love the work they do because they get to interact with the businesses with whom we do work. And this is one that's on our to-go list. So join us, folks. HultHealthy.org is where you buy tickets for Uncorked on October 14th. All right. Tell me, we're winding things down here. I've got a couple minutes left.
Okay.
How do you do this in 2 minutes? What are your biggest challenges right now? Because I think that answer has changed for a lot of the members I deal with, and because we want people to come to Uncorked, support Uncorked. Your fundraisers are a major stream of revenue to do the projects that you do. So what are some of the biggest problems?
I think the biggest challenges, as you alluded to, in this community, there are a lot of events. And I don't want to say that we don't want to go to events, but, as our state funding has been short,
Yeah.
Our funders, everybody decides where they're going to spend money.
Yeah.
So it is hard to spread and keep the programs to an elite status that you want to keep them at, because that is our funding. It is hard because we do allow those funds to pay for the programs and the staff, but they also have to pay to keep the lights on.
Right.
And the foundation and the infrastructure of the facilities. As I alluded to before, Hult's 25 years old, and we have 5 theaters. You remember Tam, as we talked about our transanatomical anatomical mannequin. To keep her, she's very expensive. There are just few across the country, and we've not really had the upgrade to our 5 theater classrooms in 25 years. So that's a major challenge of how to do events to sustain programs, but how do you do events and take private donations
Right.
to do infrastructure?
And see, that's one of the major challenges that, as you said, there's so many quality services in Peoria, and it's such a blessing to have them. But your money's invested in your staff and the programming. So then things like office space and so forth get neglected over time.
Absolutely.
And then you feel bad, but when your donors are looking, hey, I want to help kids, I don't want to buy new carpet, but you still have to make those
Right.
upgrades.
So you have
for
to,
a
you have to
comfortable
buy
work environment.
appropriate seats for your staff.
Right.
You don't want people to get, health issues because they're sitting at furniture that's not really ergonomically correct for them throughout a day.
Right. Well, listen, Andrea, thank you very much for being our guest here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Our pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for all you do in the community. Hult Center for Healthy Living, folks. HultHealthy.org. HultHealthy.org. Get on there. Get your tickets for the October 14th Uncorked event. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yes, ma'am.